What makes a monster? Is it the fangs, the claws, or the trail of blood? Or is it something far more terrifying, the world's refusal to love what it has created? Today, we're diving into Frankenstein and the haunting truth behind every being abandoned, rejected, and forced to become what the world feared all along. Monsters aren't accidents. We often imagine them with fangs, claws, and a trail of blood, waiting for evil to strike violently. But a true monster isn't born from a single act. It is forged through a process. It is life shaped by rejection, a reflection of a creator who looked at their work and walked away. At its core, the making of a nightmare needs just one ingredient: abandonment. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein is the perfect illustration of this. Before we go further, remember, Frankenstein is the scientist, not the creature. The monster is never named, and that absence is crucial. Shelley wrote the novel in 1818, at just 18 years old, while grieving and feeling isolated in a world that seemed cold and indifferent. She created a myth cloaked in science, fueled by sorrow, and centered around one haunting question: what happens when you create life but refuse to love it? Victor Frankenstein's downfall begins the moment he rejects his own creation. His obsession drives him to pursue knowledge disguised as power. He isolates himself, retreating from human connection, and immerses himself in the dead, scavenging corpses and stitching together a new life. Every choice pulls him further from humanity, feeding the illusion that creation is a prize he can claim without responsibility. And then, he succeeds. Victor animates the dead, achieving what gods and devils have promised: life where there was none. Yet when the creature opens its eyes, Victor sees only a mistake and flees. The creature's first experience is abandonment. Its first breath is met with silence, its first face with terror. It survives without guidance, without a name, without language, without warmth. It inherits only the absence of the one who created it. Victor withholds care, protection, and responsibility. In doing so, he creates a void. The tragedy is not in the creation itself, but in being abandoned at the moment it most needs love. Frankenstein is not just a cautionary tale about science. It is a story about creation as a relationship, one that demands presence, attention, and care. Without these, what remains is empty, wounded, incomplete. From that emptiness, the creature begins to form its identity. It becomes a witness to the world, alert and aimless, observing from the margins. It learns the mechanics of movement, the cadence of speech, the rituals of comfort, and the subtleties of kindness and grief. It studies humans and mimics their behaviors, not instinctively, but through observation and longing. Eventually, it finds shelter near a humble cottage. Inside, a family lives in quiet poverty, sharing love and music. The creature watches and then quietly helps, clearing snow, chopping wood, expecting nothing in return. For a moment, it dares to reveal itself to the only person capable of seeing beyond the surface, a blind old man. But even this chance for connection is destroyed. The family recoils, strikes, and flees. The creature loses the only sanctuary it has ever known. Rejection becomes a pattern, cruelty a rule. The creature learns its identity through the world's fear. Disgust teaches shame, hatred teaches retaliation. The monster is shaped not just by its creator, but by every frightened glance, every slammed door, every act of violence. What begins as emptiness becomes anger, and that anger is the product of understanding. The creature finds Victor's journal, and in its pages, it discovers the truth. It was assembled from scavenged parts, animated as an experiment, treated as a tool rather than a being worthy of love. Every act of cruelty it has experienced now has context. The world's rejection is not arbitrary. It is a continuation of Victor's own neglect. The monster sees itself clearly. It is not a man, not a son, but a creation abandoned, left to inherit the cruelty of the world. Rage grows slowly, carefully, as the creature reflects on what it has endured. Its identity is no longer a void, it is a product of the actions of others, a living testament to the consequences of abandonment. If you find this exploration of creation, rejection, and the making of a monster as fascinating as I do, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into myths, legends, and stories that shape our imagination. Truth is handed down like a legacy. The creature reflects on what it has endured, and the realization is unbearable. There is no greater violence than understanding that one was never meant to be loved. Grief hardens into resolve. The desire for kindness, once a flickering flame, is finally extinguished. The need to plead or perform vanishes. The world has spoken its judgment, and now the creature prepares to return it. This is the end of hope. Frankenstein's monster finally becomes what the world always believed it to be. Frankenstein is a mirror to every story where creation outpaces control. The monster is part of a lineage of beings shaped by hands that thought they could dictate life. Prometheus stole fire from the gods to elevate humanity, only to be chained in eternal torment. Like Victor, he dared to grant forbidden power, and like Victor, he suffered. Both discovered that fire, once taken, can consume the thief. The Golem, born from Jewish folklore, was molded from clay and animated with words to serve and protect. But power exceeding purpose turns protector into threat, leaving the creator no choice but to destroy it. Talos, the bronze giant of Greek myth, was forged from metal and powered by lifeless energy. Obedient and unstoppable, it killed without conscience, proving that creation without soul is dangerous. These myths, like Frankenstein, share a pattern. The creator turns away, and the creation searches for meaning. In the absence of love, meaning curdles into rage. After everything, the creature still hopes. It seeks peace and approaches Victor with a rational, desperate plea. A companion, another being shaped from the same silence, a chance to share its pain and exile. In exchange, it promises to vanish from humanity, disappearing into the frozen reaches of the earth, a ghost haunting no one. Victor agrees, but fear and cowardice infect the second creation. Horrified by what they might become, he destroys it, ripping apart the only future that might have offered solace. Now, the creature acts with intention. Love was never part of its world, only control and fear. Victor's betrayal demands a response. A vow is made. On Victor's wedding night, the creature will take what the scientist values most. When that night comes, Elizabeth, the symbol of normal life and safety, dies. Victor realizes he cannot play God while protecting his sanctuary. Creation, once wounded, returns. Every connection Victor holds becomes collateral damage in a war between creator and creation. He is stripped to the bare ego, left only with the question, "What have I done?" Victor chases the creature across cities and frozen landscapes, ultimately to the edge of the world. Fleeing his work is momentary cowardice. Living with it is a lifetime sentence. Exhausted, frozen, alone, the man who sought to command life succumbs to inevitability. Victor dies, unmade by the creation he abandoned. The creature returns, not for vengeance alone, but to mourn. It is the only being left with enough humanity to feel the loss. Without companion, without language, and carrying only the ash of its own potential, it disappears into the cold, carrying every unanswered question into the ice. Monstrosity is not instantaneous, it is patiently, painfully refined. First comes rejection, then neglect, then fear. The creature is shaped entirely by what was denied. It is a vessel filled with the weight of its own existence, abandoned at the precise moment care was owed. The ultimate cruelty is to give a heart only to teach. That heart, it is useless, like sight given only to appreciate darkness. The world completes the work Victor began. Every stone thrown, every scream, every act of violence becomes a lesson. The creature learns, adapts, and builds its identity from the wreckage of rejection. It grows strong in the soil of contempt, surviving solitude, remembering every injustice, and carrying the debts of the world in its bones. It waits, a mirror for its maker, to reflect back the consequences of abandonment. That is how you make a monster. If you're fascinated by the dark and powerful truths behind myths, legends, and stories that shape human imagination, subscribe to our channel and join us for more explorations into the worlds where creation meets consequence.